Rob here from Media, and in this video we're going to be talking about the form element in Elementor, so stay tuned. At Media, we help companies to grow and thrive using the latest tools, tricks and marketing techniques. From websites to online marketing, automated sales funnels, social media and much more. We're always releasing new content on our YouTube channel, so make sure you click the like, subscribe and notification button to make sure that you don't miss out. Just before we get going, I want to tell you about an exclusive offer we have on at the moment. We're giving away free access to our paid Hub platform to the first 50 people that click the link in the description. We're going to be putting this link in the description of all of our videos, so make sure that you get in there as quick as you can. Within Hub, we have created over 100 training videos in 13 courses, including a course on how to build a website using Elementor. You'll also find recorded webinars and a host of other free content, so remember to click the link in the description. Let's get on with the video. Hello and welcome to this video. We are going to be talking about the form element in Elementor. Before we begin then, I've got a page layout of Elementor full width. I've got one section here with one column in, and I've changed the background color of the section to blue. To get back to our elements then, we just need to click the grid here. Let's find our form element then and drag it into our column. So here's the default form. In this video, we're going to go through the content and style. A lot of the advanced options have their own videos, so go and check those out. Let's go to content and let's have a look at our form. So the first thing we've got is our form fields. So this will be the form name. Let's say it's on our homepage form. Here we've got name, email and message. When you're making a form, consider your users. If you have too many fields, they're less likely to fill the form in. So it's best to just capture the basics. Name, email and message works quite well here, but I do want to show you how other types of fields work, because here we've got pretty much just text areas. To edit our field then, we just have to click on it, and we've got content and advanced. We don't need to worry about advanced in this case, just leave it as it is. But content, we can choose whether we can have this to be text, email, text area, URL, etc. In this case, text is fine. The label, I'm just going to change to full name, and the placeholder will also be full name. Now the label is this here, and the placeholder, you can't see it at the moment, is within the field. We can choose whether this field is required, so the form won't successfully submit unless the user has filled in this box. We've also got column width, so I'm going to leave that on 50%. The next one, we've got email. I like all of this. I'm not going to change anything here. I do want to make sure I capture their email, so I'm going to click required. And I want this to be 50% as well. The message box then, this is a text area as opposed to text. It just allows for more rows of text so that people can type in a full message to you. I'm going to leave it as it is. Now I'm going to add in a new item. This item is going to be a checkbox, and it will be choose a number. Here we can put our options. So as I fill this in, you'll see how this works. 1, 2, and 3. You have to put each item on its own separate line, and it will display it like this. If I show you, if I put 2 in here, it's just going to make the number 12, and the same if I put space between. So it has to be on its own separate line. We can also decide whether we want to put this list in a line rather than downwards, like so. And I'm going to do that for now, just to keep it tidy. Now in this current case, the checkbox allows me to tick as many options as I like. I actually want them to only click one, so I'm going to change this type to radio. Now we can see that we can only select one of these numbers. So that's form fields. There are loads of options you can use and play around with. Bear in mind, if you're looking to capture someone's phone number, I would use the text area and not number. Number literally means selecting a number with these toggles here. Let's delete that with this X. So underneath our fields then, we've got the input size. this will be the general size of our fields. I'm going to go with extra large in this case. We can also decide whether we want labels to show or hide. In this case, I'm going to leave them hidden, but if you have them on, you can also tick this mark and you can see which fields are required by the user. Let's hide those. Obviously we can't see our placeholder text at the moment, so we don't know what we need to enter, but we're going to come to that when we come to styling the form. Next, we've got the submit button. We can choose the text that's inside. At the moment we've got send. I'm going to leave it as that is. We've also got size options, and I'm going to leave it on medium. Next we have column width, so we can change that if we like. I'm going to leave it on 100. We've also got alignments here, but I'm just going to stick with justified. It's worth noting that column width works best with justified, because if you click left, center and right, you then lose that. But if I go back to 100% justified, we get the full width of the column. We can also add an icon to our button, like so. I'm not going to have one in this case, so I'm going to remove that and leave it on the default. Button ID, ignore this for now. That's for more advanced use of the buttons. Actions after submit. So when someone clicks send, the form is sent to their email in this case. There are other options, so it could go to another email. When the form gets sent off and it's a successful submission, we can also redirect the user to a thank you page. So we could click redirect here, and then the option for redirect here comes up, and we can link our thank you page. So it might be /thank you. Let's remove that for now with the X. And there's some various other options as well here. But for the sake of teaching you how forms work, we're going to keep it as simple as possible and not overcomplicate. We're just going to leave email in here. So when someone sends off the message will just email to you. So let's go down to email them. Here we'll put the email that we want the form submission to send to. So it might be that you've got an inquiries inbox. You'd put your email into that. You've got the subject. So we would be putting this on our homepage, for example. So I'm going to put new message from homepage. I'm going to leave all fields in. This means that the message that comes through to me will contain all of these fields and all the information that's filled in. So the full name, as well as the email and the message, and also the selected number. We're going to leave the from email, from name, and the reply to. These settings should work fine as they are. Should you find any problems with the form sending off to your email, you might want to check that you've whitelisted your website URL within your email settings. Metadata, I'm going to leave all these details in here just so that we get all the information we possibly can from the submission. And we've also got send as HTML and plain. We've also got some additional options here which are more advanced. We're going to leave the form ID, but we've got custom messages. So when someone clicks send and it's a successful submission, then a little bit of text underneath the button normally appears which says the form was sent successfully. Sometimes there might be an error with the form and they'll get this message instead, and so on. And we can change this text to whatever we want. So that's it for the content of the form. There's a lot of field options for you to play around with, see what you can find. I'm going to stop for a moment so you can pause the video, and then we're going to look at styling our form. Let's go up to style then at the top left, and our first setting is the columns gap. As you can see on the right, this is the distance between each column of the fields. Let's just leave it on 11. We've got the row gap, and again you can see how this affects the form. Next we have spacing of the label. We've disabled our labels, but this would also be the spacing between the label and the fields. We've got text color and typography options there if we had the labels on. Ignore the HTML fields for the moment. We're going to go to field, and this is where we can really start to make the form look how we want it to look. So first of all, I want the text color to be white. I also want the typography to be Josephine Sands. Currently our background color is white. I don't want this at all. I want a clear background, So we can now see our placeholder text, full name, email and message. I do want a border and I want that to be white. I want it to be 5 and no radius. I don't want any round corners. To make this look a little bit different, I'm actually going to unlink the border width here. I'm going to remove the top border, the right border, and also the left. So now I'm just left with these lines. Now let's style our button. So let's click button. I want the background color to be orange. I want the text color to be white, which it is. The typography, Josephine Sands. I want it to be quite large. Not that large, there we go, 2. I want a solid border on our button, and I want a width of 5, colour of white, and no radius. I'm going to leave the text padding as it is because I think that's quite uniform as it is, but if I was to change it, you can see how that affects the button. Next is the messages. So this refers to the message text that appears under the button when we submit. So that's the congratulations, it's a successful submission text. And I'm just going to have this, Josephine again. I want a successful message to be green, great, error, this orange, and inline message color I'm just going to leave as white. Just quickly, we're going to go back to button and put in a hover color. Background color, we're going to have green, and all the other settings we're going to keep the same, but in animation we're going to select shrink. So now when I hover over my button, the button shrinks and goes green. That's it for the style of our form. There are so many options you can use, so go and add a couple of fields, style them how you want, and don't forget, if you're happy, click the green update button at the bottom, and we will see you in the next video.